Welcome to the day 3 and 4 presentation of using linear equations in slope-intercept form. All right, this is going to be a review problem here. Write an equation of the line with the given slope and y-intercept. So slope is our m and the y-intercept is our b. So all I need to do is fill in negative 174 for m and fill in 465 for b, and that gets us y equals negative 174x plus 465. All right, let's try another example like that, one with some numbers that aren't necessarily so nice. Write an equation of the line with the given slope and y-intercept. M is negative 5/17 and b is negative 19/3. Now the numbers look pretty hard, but honestly this is not that difficult of a problem. All we need to do is fill in negative 5/17 for m and negative 19/3 for b. So that's going to give us the equation of y equals negative 5/16 x minus 19/3. All right, let's move on to another problem. So here I'm giving you a line in a coordinate plane, and I want to figure out the equation of this line. So our first step is going to be find the slope of the line. So I'm going to take and do the slope formula, which is our change in our y over our change in our x. So the y is going to be starting with 0 minus negative 3, and 0 minus negative 3 is the same as 0 plus 3. So our y part is 3. And now we're going to do the x. We're going to have 4 minus negative 2. That's the same as 4 plus 2. And 4 plus 2 is 6. So we get 3 over 6 as our slope, and that can reduce to 1 over 2. All right. Now this is a type of problem here where we can actually take a look at the y-intercept, or the b, where it crosses the y-axis. And in this case, our y-intercept is crossing in a nice, easy to see spot here, which is at negative 2. So then we can go ahead and fill in our equation. Our equation is going to be y equals 1/2 x, because m, our slope, is 1/2, and our b is negative 2. So y equals 1/2 x minus 2 is our equation. All right, let's take a look at another example. So here we go. I want to find the equation of this line here. So in this case, I've got the line hitting at 0, 5, and it's hitting at 1, 1. So first step is to find the slope. So I'm going to take 5 minus 1, and 5 minus 1 is 4. And then I'm going to take 0 minus 1, and 0 minus 1 is negative 1. So the slope of this line is negative 4. And that would make sense, because if I'm reading this line from left to right and it's going down like this one is, then my slope is going to be negative. And then in order to figure out the rest of the equation, we've got to figure out b, or y-intercept. So y equals mx plus b format. We're just going to fill in our numbers here. We got to figure out which point are we going to use. Now we've got 0, 5, and we've got 1, 1. I thought 0, 5 was the easier one in this case, but you know what? You might think that 1, 1 was an easy one to use. But in this case, I'm going to use 0, 5. So my y is 5. My slope is negative 4. My x is 0. And then we're just going to fill out in the rest of this equation. So 5 is still 5. Negative 4 times 0 is 0, and then plus b. So in this case, our b here is going to be 5. And actually, the more that I've thought about this, I could have just looked at this. My b would be 5 because I've got the point 0, 5. So in this case, I didn't have to fill in a point. I could have gotten away with just looking at it, but that's okay. We can still go with this. So our equation is y equals negative 4x plus 5. All right, let's move on. So write an equation of the line with the given slope and point. So in this case, all of the work has been done for us as far as getting the slope. So I think this is actually an easier equation or an easier problem to work with. So our slope is 7. Our point is 2, -3. All we need to do is plug it in. So -3 goes for y. Our slope is 7. 2 is our x, so we're going to try to calculate our b. So -3 is -3. All right, 7 times 2 is 14. And our b is just our b. So in order to solve this now, I'm going to subtract 14 from both sides. And my b is going to be -3 minus 14, which is -17. So my equation is y equals, my m is 7, so 7x minus 17. All right, and that solves this problem. All right, so let's take a look at this example here. I want to find the equation that passes through these 2 points of 2, 8 and -2, -4. So first step I'm going to do here is find the slope. So I'm going to take, in this case, I'm going to go in this direction. I've gone in that direction before, but let's go in this direction, try something new. So 8 minus -4 is 12. And then I'm going to go 2 minus -2 is 4. And 12 over 4 reduces to 3. So my slope here is 3. And now I need to pick a point to go through and figure out what my b is. And the point that I think here is easiest is 2, 8. So I'm going to just fill that in here. My y is 8. My slope of 3 is m. And my x is 2. So I get 8 equals 3 times 2 plus b. And 8 is just 8. 3 times 2 is 6. And b is just b. So now to solve this, I'm going to need to subtract 6 from both sides. And that's going to cancel, and my b is going to be 2. So my equation ends up being y equals 3x plus 2. So let's do one more example. So this will be our last one that we do in this presentation. So same deal, I want to figure out the slope between the points 0, 5 and 1, 1. So I'm going to calculate my slope. So I'm going to go in this direction. So I'm going to go from left to right. So I'm going to go 5 minus 1 is 4. And I go 0 minus 1 is -1. So my slope is -4. And then I've got to figure out what point to use. And I think the best point to use in this case is going to be 1, 1. So I use 1, 1 to fill it back in. You could have used 0, 5. That one's fine. But I decided to go with 1, 1. So 1 is my y, -4 is my m, 1 is my x. So I can now calculate this to figure out b. 1 is 1. -4 times 1 is -4. B is still whatever b is. And some of you may even know what it is right now. But I'm going to add 4 now to figure this out. All right, and these are going to cancel. And 1 plus 4 is 5. So my b is going to be 5. So in this case, my equation is going to be y equals -4x plus 5. So you might have also known when you were looking at this, when I said earlier, somebody might know what it is. Because I've got the point 0, 5 in there as a point that the line goes through, then you might have suspected that the b was 5 automatically. And if you saw that and be like, hey, Mr. Kenyon, could I just go with b being 5 because I see this point? Absolutely, yes, you can do that. All right, so that concludes days 3 and 4 of the presentation for section 4.2. For Thursday, I expect you to do problems 8, 9, and 14. Don't send that yet to me because on Friday I'm going to want you to do problems 11, 17, and 19. So then when you have both of these done, so when you have 8, 9, 14, 11, 17, and 19 completed, then you can send them in a picture and an email to me. And this will take care of the rest of the first week of e-learning here for week number 3. So hopefully you found this presentation helpful. Have a great rest of your day.